Hi, mystery writers. Welcome to the studio. And today I wanted to talk about something not about craft or story structure or characters or any of those things, but about building your author career, your author presence. And that has to do with connecting with other writers and authors. And it's a very important part of your author presence. So, um, we work alone when we're writing, and I mean, even with writing partners, they're one place, you're another place, and get together on your manuscript. But we are alone while we're writing, and so first of all, the benefit of connecting with other authors is just more socialness in your life. But the thing is that fellow authors provide this rich source of knowledge because we all have our limitations. And I think, especially when it comes to our own writing, it's very hard to step back and be totally objective. And one of the things that can happen, say, in a writing critique group is you get input from other writers who are simpatico, but they can point out things that you just don't see. I know that's happened a lot with me in my writing groups. Um, and the other thing that happens with is just idea exchanges, ideas about how to approach a story or how to use certain tools or the connections that you make. For instance, um, the book cover designer, I found my book cover designer through another author. I know it's a really struggle to find the right cover designer for your book. And I was at an author group meeting, and somebody was like, handed me their phone. They said, my new book is out, and here's the cover. And I was like, oh, wow, this cover is amazing. Who is your cover designer? And anyway, that's how I found my cover designer. And I also found my editor this way through a different group, and people were talking about editing, and I asked if anyone knew a good editor, and I found one. It's actually an American living in France. So, they don't have to be next door. So, um, and just what else can happen through connections with other authors. Um, Also, you can get invitations to speak at groups or to do blog tours, and spread the word about you and your books. And also, in one of my author groups, there's an author who is also audiobook narrator, and he had some suggestions for me while I am on my search for a female voice for a narration for my upcoming book. So just these live interactions, you just learn a lot of information that you can go and search and search and search online and try to figure out who would be the best editor for your book, for example, because you want them to understand your genre, your editor to understand your genre as well. Anyway, enough about editing. I just want to stay on topic with the resources that are available to you when you connect with other writers. And so let's look at some ways you can connect. Um, you can join a critique group, and I urge you to join a critique group, but just be careful. Um, um, Getting feedback from other writers is really great, but you want to join a group that is really focused on critiques, and there's no giant ego leading the group, which is doing it my way, my way, my way, because that interferes with the critique process. So just be circumspect. Go to some meetings, talk to people, see what their group guidelines are. If they don't have group guidelines, that's a red flag right there. Um, and then, of course, for us nowadays, there are online groups where you can meet and talk to other authors. And for instance, this Mystery Writers Studio was a Facebook group, and you can talk to other writers about what's going on in your writing life. And also, if you make friends on Facebook, you can do um, critique critique exchanges with somebody that's very simpatico. So you can read meet through video conferencing and exchange your manuscript sections and talk about them. So that's another way that you can work with other writers. There's plenty of online groups available, and the same things apply if it's all about bragging about if it's all about bragging, it's probably a group you don't need to be in, because the reason for joining those groups is really an exchange of information, and that's what you're looking for. Um, there are also professional writing organizations. Um, for instance, for mystery writers, there's Mystery Writers of America, and their Sisters in Crime, for two examples. And they have local chapters, so you can get together with other authors in your area, um, and do that same kind of exchange. And also attending conferences, you can meet other writers as well and make that human connection. Um, so by the time you have expanded your circle of writing and author friends, you're going to know more about how to improve your own writing and where best to spend your writing budget, and those little offhand comments that actually make a significant difference in your life, because um, that comment may make you think about your writing or that particular manuscript in a way you just hadn't thought of before. So keep meeting with other writers and do that. Oh, what is another thing I wanted to say? In one of my writing groups, someone announced today that they're going to the American Library Association conference in Chicago, and she offered to take bookmarks there and have them on her table. So I am going like this in paper to the American Library Association conference. So there's just it would never occur to me, and certainly I can't just mail them my bookmarks and have them put them out somewhere. So you just never know where those connections are going to expand your author career and expand your knowledge of writing. Okay, I welcome any questions. I encourage you to meet with other authors and engage in conversation, because it's very stimulating. It's very stimulating, and I think I've mentioned here before that I meet once a week with another author. She writes in a different genre, but we talk about author things every week, and that's inspirational. I know that, if you're having a week where you're feeling down about your writing, or not feeling like your your manuscript is doing what you want it to do, just talking with another author who understands those feelings um, is really wonderful and supportive. So I think that's about all I had to say this week. And I encourage you to meet other authors, engage in exchanges, Ask questions, and of course, listen. Listen. Listen to what other people are saying, because you never know where that little spark of wisdom is going to come from, that can inspire you. All right. Thank you so much for being here, and keep writing.